Hey guys, welcome to another question of Ask Java series. In this video, we'll see what makes Java platform independent. But first, let's take an example to understand what do you mean by platform independent. So whenever you develop an application, you have to first write the code, and this is known as source code. But that source code is in human understandable language. It is made up of some English phrases that humans understand, right? And these phrases are not understood by the computer. Computer understands a very different language. And to make the application work, we have to convert this human understandable code into computer understandable language. And for that, we have a compiler, which converts the human code to machine code. Now, if you have large applications with multiple source files, what happens is these source files are fed to the compiler. For example, in the case of C and C++, the compilers generate the object files. These object files are in machine understandable language. Once these object files are generated, they are linked together by the linker to form an exe. And this exe runs on your OS as application. Here, the problem is that if you have compiled this application for Windows platform, it doesn't work for the Linux platform, or vice versa. If it is compiled on the Linux platform, it doesn't work on the Windows platform. And that is why we say that it is dependent on the platform. But Java works differently. It introduces bytecode and JVM so that the bytecode or the compiled code doesn't have to depend on the OS. And once the code is compiled, it can be easily carried to any system. So that Java does in its own unique way. Let's see how. So as I mentioned earlier, whenever you have to develop Java applications, it is important to download JDK. Why? Because JDK contains JVM, which runs your Java applications. And JVM is necessary to run your Java applications because it is responsible for making Java platform independent. Now let's see how JVM works. So once you install JDK, the JVM runs on your OS. Now when you develop your applications, the source code is first given to the compiler. Then compiler generates the .class files from it. These .class files are the bytecodes which are understood by the JVM. Now when you download JVM, you download separately for Windows, there's separate installation for Linux, etc. So this JVM depends on the platform. The installation of JVM depends on the platform and you have to install it separately on separate machines. But one special thing about the JVM is since it is depending on the platform already, it can take the bytecode that is generated on any platform. So be it the bytecode generated on Windows or Linux, it can take from any platform and run the application on any platform. So how? Let's see. So suppose, let's say you worked on the Windows platform, you have your source code compiled into bytecodes on the Windows platform. Now, JVM from any system, be it Linux or Windows, it can take this bytecode and using a class loader, it loads this bytecode. Once these are loaded, it checks for any illegal codes using a bytecode verifier. And once this all security checks are done, with the help of execution engine, it converts this bytecode into the respective machine code. So if it is a Windows system, it will convert into the Windows native code. If it is Linux, JVM will convert into Linux. So basically, it can take the bytecode from any system and convert it to the respective OS. And this makes Java platform independent. So platform independent means the compiled code can run on any system. That is the simple meaning of platform independence. And using the bytecode and JVM, Java is able to achieve platform independence. There are more components that are present in the JVM that makes the whole application work on the OS. So the detailed architecture we'll see in the upcoming question, but this is how JVM makes it platform independent. So I hope you understood the concept. If you have any questions, please mention them in the comment section below and we'll get back to it very shortly. Until then, subscribe to our channel and also like and share this video. Thank you.